can hear the hound of the Baskerville. Not a very big hound, but still. Chihuahua of the Baskerville. Oh, a big day today. Lots of things happened.
Yes.
Probably should be able to catch a few of our Aussie mates on at this time. The rest will probably be asleep. It's like an aviary out here.
What's that?
Yeah. All of them have cracked parrots, maggies, finches.
See, give it and take it away.
What did you go in bed high?
I had, because I won, I just went
Oh, you're
for
trying
it.
to play a challenge.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And my reward is a friggin' 10-minute.
Yay.
Yeah. So I can't play no more challenges now. I only got a million left.
Yeah, it just gets too hard, doesn't it?
Can't do any of them.
Would have been about 41 cubic metres, I worked out.
Yeah.
A lot. If you made it a cubic metre square, it'd be 41 metres high or 120 feet. It'd look like an obelisk. Hello, Fifth. How are you, Fifth? Fifth. It's our tick from Hillbilly. How you been? Good? No, you can't see me, I just got pointing towards the street. We had a concrete laid today. That was exciting. I'm just saying, if you made it a metre by metre by metre, I always knew you'd go back to be a male stripper for the rich and famous Hillbilly. That was your career path all along. Or does your career involve a torch? I'm putting money on the torch. Good morning, Scarlett. How are you? We had a big concrete pour today, Scarlett. Yeah, it was a lot of concrete.
Yes.
With insane cats. They could mean a lot of things. Oh, you always had a crazy cat. How the puppy dog's going, all right? Coffee, sounds good. Might go make one shortly. What do you reckon?
No, I'm going to bed shortly.
All right.
It's too late for me.
How's the Wirro going, Hillbilly? Still tweeting away? Yeah, that one's got the vet work, right. Well, if it's not crazy people in your house, it's crazy animals, let's be honest. No more claws. I knew a cat that had that done. It became very quiet after that.
No more claws. Or you have it declawed. Was it that
Yeah.
bad?
That's what it sounds like. bread.
nice.
Yum.
My mum likes.
Pretty easy. It's a bit like
that. Used to like that with hummus.
yeah.
Is that not? That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But it's Lebanese bread that they use with hummus. But that's very similar to naan bread, to be honest. Yeah, I think it's making things like that are pretty easy. Now, imagine you're going to make a dough and let it rise, punch it out, and then chop little bits off, roll it out, and cook it on a hot grill or a hot cast iron pan. Yeah.
So did you have
Cat was attacking people. Ooh.
back and
G'day,
front,
Wolf.
back and front claws hillbilly?
There's Wolfman there. Yeah. Remember Wolfman Jack? Mm.
Oh, I wrote wolf. Sorry.
Wolf. You sound like you got a lisp. Hello, Wolf.
Oh God, it's late. It's my bedtime. I didn't mean to misspell your name. Sorry.
Hillbilly, years ago, I knew a cat that had, I think they call it extended claws. It couldn't retract them. That was the reason that they took the claws off. I don't know why that happened, but I mean, with hummus, I'll eat chickpeas, don't get me wrong, I love them, but blend it up. Hello, Blinky. We had the big pour today, Blinky. 41 cubic metres of concrete. And all the bodies of the Boit e-beggars are now 4 feet below ground. Ha 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 ha. Don't ask who or where they're buried. It's best for all. If it was that simple.
You got lag and buffering, so
Am I buffering again?
it just stopped.
Hey, Hillbilly, you see that Arky's making videos again? Deep in Arkansas. She's got a couple of grandbabies now too. Blackbird in the middle of the night.
No, I haven't.
That song plays when Free Birdie comes into the room.
I haven't done that, Scarlett. I suppose I should have done that today. Tomorrow will be too late
What's that?
to etch the.
Did we have enough bags of lime? We actually got the concrete crushing. I wasn't going to mix up 41 metres of concrete by hand blinking. It's a big day, and I put that video up today, and there'll be different things happening next week, but it's a bit of a slow period for 2 or 3 days because the concrete's got to cure.
So I've got time tomorrow to etch my name and date in there.
You'll be struggling to do it tomorrow.
Yeah, I should have done it today.
Just grab a nail and you can do it. I think it's going to be funny because she'll probably have the same attitude, Hillbilly, but she won't be able to do any damage to the dogs. You're ready for the heat to leave, Free Birdie. Well, you can always rug up, that's for sure. Now, if you live where Blinky lives, you can have winter, summer, autumn and spring between the hours of 6 a.m. and lunchtime. It's a natural phenomena where Blinky lives. It's the Arctic Ocean snow, followed by blistering 45-degree heat. That's in the afternoon.
I mean, I enjoy the heat more.
I don't mind the heat.
But
Well, we used to, of course, but
But I suppose as you get older, each summer affects you differently, and each season affects you differently, doesn't it? As you get older.
I think in the UK, most people don't have air conditioners at all. And in Europe's the same. They really suffer when the heat, like it was 24 degrees. And we were in Ireland at the time, about to come back to the UK, and they said heat wave strikes 3 days at 24 degrees Celsius, which is like, I don't know, 75, 80.
Yeah, but their houses are built different because they don't have air conditioning, and it usually doesn't get that warm. They
Yeah.
don't really have fly screens on the windows to open windows.
I love snow too. Yeah.
It's actually cold here tonight, Blinky. I mean, I've got my dressing gown on.
Oh, it's just the wind though. It's about 15 degrees, but the wind's making it colder. You don't have AC where you are either, Scarlett. Simple answer to all that is called a reverse cycle air conditioner. And even when we have our air conditioner on, it never goes any lower than about 25 or 24. That's fine for us. And in winter when it's bitterly cold, 18's good enough for us.
I gotta admit, when if it's really hot and really humid, no, you don't sleep well. If you don't have a decent fan or air conditioner, because I won't leave windows open at night for obvious reasons.
I mean, many years ago, I made what they call a Kalgoorlie box. Not a Kalgoorlie fridge. A Kalgoorlie box is where you get 2 layers of shade cloth. All right, just imagine you build a wire structure like a big box. You can sit in there, and you put reticulation between the 2 layers of shade cloth in like a snake fashion, all the way around. And then you just turn it on, and there's a little well at the bottom where the water gathers again and just gets reused. Now that can turn a 100-degree day into about a 75-degree. It's astonishing. Just the power of water and a light breeze, and the heat dissipates. You're making a condenser, literally. Yeah, you know what a Kalgoorlie fridge then would be, which is not a fridge, but just keep things cold. No, I don't like it too cold. Like at night time, if you've got the aircon on, it just gets too cold.
You prefer cooler weather. If you
No, but
change,
like if you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, oh, geez, turn it off.
You feel the heat quicker than I do, I suppose. I feel the
Yeah,
cold.
I suppose it's a similar thing. Swamp cooler, I know what they are, but this is just using a little pump between 2 layers of shade cloth. Fairly, because you get percentages of knitted shade cloth, and I used to use a 75 or 80%, so it's pretty dark anyway. But just having that spray, it hardly came out of the shade cloth, but it would then go down into the tray and just kept pumping it around. Eventually you'd have to top up the tank because it would just evaporate, but geez, that worked. That's it. Fly away on a wet tea towel. Just let the breeze fly across it. I mean, in some states in the US, swamp cooler would be useless. Just too high in humidity, I guess. Yeah, you just said it. Don't work in the humid. Yeah. We've got these things that people have on houses called evaporative air conditioners, and that's water driven. It's the same process as the swamp cooler.
Yeah, but
It's fine when it's about up to 90 degrees, but then it just gets sticky and hot in the house.
and you have to leave a window open.
But we don't use a lot of power. With our air conditioners, we have one for each room, so we only turn on the air conditioner if we're in that room.
Yeah, that's the only problem I have though, is how sometimes having doors closed, because I like open.
Well, there's no need to have the office door open or the bedroom doors open if it's hot or cold. Not sure what you're on about, Blinky. You're going to wax what? You've been stripping back something. Yeah, a lot of people have complete house air conditioning, and like the whole house is cold.
Do you mean
what's the point?
she
Only in one area.
She might have a Kalgoorlie.
How many square feet are you adding to your house? I'm guessing here 700-800 feet, I guess.
The old one's what, 80?
No, in meters it's about. What is it in meters? I tried to work it out the other day. I'll find out what it is for you and I'll let you know. It's a fairly big edition.
Yeah, Kalgoorlie.
Oh, the Kalgoorlie safe. I got you,
Kalgoorlie.
Blinky. No, evaporative air conditioners are better made now, but reverse cycle air conditioners are better still.
Oh, cool, Blinky. I hope you're careful when you're stripping that back.
It's pretty hard to strip the paint back. Maybe she just buffed it back and paint and wax it. Yeah. It's a very simple process, Hillbilly, the evaporative system.
Yeah,
It's okay, like I say, but if you live in a state where the humidity is really high, they're useless.
Blinky, you doing little bits of video, you can put that up on your channel. Each stage that you're doing of the
That'll make a good video,
Kalgoorlie
actually.
safe, yeah.
I love people when they rescue old furniture.
And do it up. Because a lot of people wouldn't know what that is, I suppose.
Like, I got a heap of work when we put these windows into our extension, because some of the windows were made in 1940. So there's paint to be stripped and get back to timber. And that always sounds like it's fairly easy, but it could be a long process. But I'm looking forward to it. We love timber. Yeah, they're the way to go. Reverse cycle. And you can even get timers for them if you want to. If you want to get fancy, you just.
Well, if it's a new one, there is on the controls at the time.
Yeah, we've got them on ours where we can actually have it on, like, and then it turns off at, like, I don't know, 3 in the morning or something. Got a heat gun? No, I haven't got a heat gun. Enamel you normally need to blister off, which is like with a little Bunsen burner.
You're not thinking of lead paint, are you?
No, Blinky said enamel paint. Yeah, ours is the reverse. But most of the time, I'll be honest with you, even in summer, if you've got good insulation, that's half the trick. If you just turn the fan on, that's what we do sometimes, isn't it? Just turn the fan on.
Yeah, but I still prefer pedestal fans at the end of the day.
Yeah, for most of the year, if we want a bit of air in the room, we'll just stick a pedestal fan, just gently blowing a bit of breeze across.
I know we've got a reverse cycle, but it's because the heat or cool. The fans are okay, but where a pedestal you can position in a better area, you know what I mean?
Yeah, toxic paint stripper and Dremel, that would work. Wine works in the winter. What's that about? Yeah, insulation's really the key in any building, to be honest, no matter where you live. Like, I'll give you an idea of what we do in the morning, in the middle of summer. And Blinky would do the same. In the middle of summer, about 6 in the morning, I get up or a bit earlier, open up all the windows and open up all the doors, and you let all the cool air in. By about 9:30, you close them all up, pull the drapes across, And you don't need any air conditioner till probably about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Actually, Scarlett, I don't like ceiling fans. I find the same with them.
Even a really good one. After a while,
They shake.
this is the noise they make, Free. It's like, I'm not going to get any sleep. Yeah, but opening the doors and getting that cool air in. It's even the same when it's going to be a cold night, but you're in the middle of the day. Open everything up. Do the reverse, let a bit of the warm air in, and when you see and feel the chill just coming, close everything up.
Yeah, I'll have to look at those blinds because I need some window dressings, but I do prefer to have a pedestal fan and then have the reverse cycles for general aircon or heating, eh?
Oh, we got some good ceiling fans, don't get me wrong, but they all, after a time, end up making little, even if it's only the noise of them hitting the air as they're spinning.
I just have never liked ceiling fans. I want them all removed from this house.
They don't make noise. Well, when you come for your visit here, Hillbilly, I'm going to stick you in the room, any of the old rooms of the old cottage that have all got fans.
And, well, I suppose it depends. You put it on its highest speed and it doesn't do anything. As in far as...
I'd like to say, I would prefer, I'm like you, have a pedestal fan in the corner.
That,
just wafting a little bit of air across you. That's good enough for me. There are shades you can lift from the top to the bottom. We're more curtain people, aren't we?
Yeah, I like curtains, but I know at Scarlett's I prefer them because I don't like the ones with cords either.
No, these aren't cheap fans, Hillbilly, trust me. No, it's like not a major noise, don't get me wrong. It's just that little bit of a noise that a ceiling fan makes in preference to a pedestal fan, which just goes... It doesn't annoy you.
Hey, I might look into those shades, Scarlett. See what they offer here. I still do like to have thick curtains to draw.
Yeah. We like the idea of
but
opening up all day and then closing it up all night. You've got big French doors going down the back. You're going to probably have to get I think, unless you get a good running rail, you're either going to have a pulley or have the ones that you can just pull across.
No, pull across. I don't want a pulley. I'll just,
Yeah, insulate. The sunblock drapes are brilliant. But we've designed the house in reflection of where the sun comes and goes. So first thing in the morning we can flood all our living areas with light, and then by about 10 o'clock in summer it's shade.
I think Blinky asked you a question, Hillbilly.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you've got no other fan, ceiling fan's a better option than nothing. Is that what you call your boyfriend? Come here, soft blanket. I'm the same. I'd rather be pulling up the doona to keep me, from the cold.
Yeah, I have to agree with that.
Then, you know what I mean? So I'm with you there, Free.
Even though I like the heat, but at night...
Hello, Illabella.
Yeah, but at night, it's true. It's too dark, Ella, for your knees.
Yes. You're just going to have to imagine.
Every time Ella comes in the room, you change your voice.
Yes, she likes it.
Or if Susan comes in.
I think what it is, as you get older, and I think Free and Scarlett would agree with me, you just want to be comfortable. You don't mind being in a cooler room if you've got a nice warm doona to pull up and snuggle up to, like Free said. But you don't want to be sticky and hot, and you don't want to be freezing cold. When you're a bit younger, you can probably just put up with it. But as you get a wee little bit older...
That's even with pedestal fan helps.
We've got a very good pedestal fan in the shed, haven't we?
Yeah,
that black one.
Yeah, in the corner and let it...
Yeah, I've always liked just a fan. I mean, if it's 105 degrees at midnight, and it can be here, yeah, we'll put the air conditioner on. But most of summer, it'll just be a fan. No, we don't get the buzzing sound. They're good fans there, but we just don't like ceiling fans, hillbilly. That's probably the truth. I prefer a pedestal, just gently wafting a breeze over you. Yeah, I'm the same. Free. In the middle of winter, I'll often say I feel stuffy, so I'll just put the fan on low, and the wife will go, "Oh, it's so cold, it's so cold."
That's why I like a pedestal, because I make it so I get just the edge of it.
Yeah, and I get all of it.
Yeah. Well, you can't do that with the fan of an air conditioner or the
you can
fan.
If you've got like an angle we got in this front bedroom, we can.
But that's what I'm saying with reverse cycle air conditioners, fan only. It just goes in a certain area where you make it.
Yeah.
Or have it swing, but.
Ella, no one could push you from that pedestal made of solid marble 400 feet high and 30 feet wide with gold chains tied to your ankle. No one could push you from that pedestal.
In your Vincent Price voice.
Yeah, I don't know if it's claustrophobia with me, but it's definitely, I feel stuffy, like, oh, geez, I need some air. So, but the wife is nearly as much. We like being outside.
They're always plodding around doing something.
You know, I suppose I'm outside for 4 or 5 hours a day.
Well, yeah, we probably don't do something. We feed the birds.
Yeah.
Just like sitting and watching.
Morning coffee, morning tea.
Just like watching the trees. Oh, the noise. Yeah, you sort of get used to that sort of thing too, because we listen to like a podcast of, back from 2000 they started?
Yeah, you may not have heard, you know one person I mentioned, Ricky Gervais, but he used to be on a radio station called XFM.
With,
and they had him, Steve Merchant, and the bald, roundy Mank.
Carl Pilkington.
And just funny little 30-minute podcasts.
And even though we sometimes hear the same one, it's still funny. Well, you had a blade come off once, you found. Well, there
Hello,
you go.
Sid.
There you
Angel.
go, Hillbilly. Hey, Sid, haven't seen you in ages.
Yeah, she's been in jail.
Has she?
Yeah. She was charged for being too cute. 6 months penalty. Wonder why he's got that big beam on. Looking forward to when we can move into the back section, which will be quite a while.
But I will miss this front bedroom. I know I'm going to have to get used to it, you know.
Yeah, it'll be... well, there's so much to do. Even when it's locked up, lock-up stage, we've got windows, floors, architraves, painting. So there's a couple of months of all the finicky final work.
Well, we're actually on later than usual, Sids. Because it's nearly my bedtime.
Yeah, we had a big day.
We didn't have a big day.
Well, we sort of did.
Well, the house did. Actually, we didn't do a lot today. We actually sat around a lot today. Oh, I did a video.
Yes. Vinegar tits. I did.
I tell you, Colin.
She was a funny character. She never really come across as that nasty vinegar tit type thing, though she tried to be mean and nasty. Listen, girls, if you don't get in yourselves, I'll beat the shit out of you. On the inside, the sun don't shine. Ooh, and the rain.
Oh yeah, Blinky. Yep, used to like that show.
Yeah, the freak, yeah.
It's past
But
your...
Vinegar Tits was the one that I always thought, she was a sort of, other than B,
What a name.
it was like she was the anti person in the show, but she never really played mean well. Do you know what I mean?
What a name, Vinegar Tits.
That was what prisoners called her.
Yeah, but how the hell did they come up with that?
She was a nasty little number.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that happened in that show would be considered very mild in a real prison, Blinky. Trust me. Yes, Blinky, because you're not quite as old as me, but you're very close. Remember Division 4? Homicide? My God. F-Troop?
Geez, you could use those names for some people on board. The Freak, Vinegar Tits.
Yeah,
Did
there
I
we go.
say that?
Here's the quiz.
Did I say that?
What me and Blinky and the wife are talking about is a character out of a television show called Prisoner in the 70s. And there was a prison officer that the prisoners nicknamed Vinegar Tits because she was a sour bitch. So who could we name Vinegar Tits on Boit? That's the question. It's a quiz night. Who would you pick to be called Vinegar Tits on Boit? It's all in good fun, of course.
Alright, go and make your celery juice free.
What?
She's got to get up and make her celery juice.
I reckon Free must do green poos. She has all these, what do they call them? Blitzed things in the morning. My goodness. You're so healthy. Just unnatural. Yep, we eat loads of veggies actually, Free.
Yeah, Vinny's done remarkable sets.
Yeah, it went into the 80s. I think it finished in about 82, I think. But it just died in the arse, really. Think about shows when they're good and they keep dragging them out, they end up being crap. Vinny is home now,
Yep.
That's good. He should. I know it's hard to express it to him, but he should kick back and relax for a while.
Oh, it'll help in his healing process. It always does you better at
Oh
night.
yeah, I'm not saying not to do anything, but
I mean, it's the hospital.
you know,
helps.
chuck a few movies on, relax. It's very hard, as Free would agree, to live a completely holistic lifestyle, mind, body, soul. It's very hard because the modern world doesn't permit you to do so.
Well, you can.
As in, you've got things to do, places to go, grandchildren to look after, etc., etc. So you can't truly live fully holistic, but you can go pretty damn close.
Yeah, you just take your whole family and go and live in a commune.
A nudist colony?
No, not no, like a nudist colony, but you just go live in a commune.
Yes. There's an old book I had years ago, Free. It used to be called Foods That Heal and Foods That Harm. Very practical logic book. And that Mother Nature's gift to all of us, if we're willing to take it on board, and we do regularly, onions, garlic, honey, ginger. You can just about stop with those four, to be honest. Honey, garlic, onions, ginger.
It's like that.
They are nature's gifts.
That English vet we watched.
Mm-hmm.
He used Manuka honey to heal a dog's paw.
Honey was one of the most common items used even thousands of years ago.
Yeah, but that Manuka honey, I don't know if I'm saying it right, is different to most other honeys. I mean, all honey's good, but
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to explain to someone the other day when I was making an Irish stew. I probably put 10% meat and 90% vegetable into it. It's the flavours. Yep, and lemons. I'm glad you reminded me, Scarlett. lemon, honey alone is an incredible
I love my honey
use
and
for the
lemon.
body. But I was listening to someone the other day on a show talking about spices and herbs and that, and I'm in the category, and I truly believe this is true of a lot of things in life, is that less is more. In other words, if you keep it fairly simple but balanced flavours, you don't need to put heaps in, is what I'm saying. A lot of people go overboard with things like coriander, basil,
Oh, yeah.
you know what I mean? They just go way overboard and it's
love-
overpowering.
I love apple cider vinegar.
Yeah, out of those two, I think the parsley is far more cleansing. But I truly mean that. If you ever watch any of my cooking shows, there's not a lot of things going in there. There's bits and pieces. And I never measure because I can't be bothered.
Plus, as nice as lamb is, when you're doing a stew with a lamb, you don't want a lot of meat because it is a rich meat.
It's a unique, delicious flavour that you don't need to add much to.
No.
I think I only put parsley, black pepper. That's about the two combinations, and butter.
And vegetables.
Oh, heaps of veggies, but I'm saying the flavour of the lamb carries the dish. One of the things I do like, and we are going to plant...
Hey, Danny.
Hello, Danny. We are going to definitely plant lemon tree, if not two, but I like lime in ice water. So I may plant a lime tree. There's several limes that I couldn't get. One is a very small lime, like an Asian lime, and they are unbelievable. If you've ever had those small Asian limes, they're just magnificent. Remember the ones in Thailand?
Yeah, and what are those ones? They're expensive and only grow in Tasmania or New Zealand. Finger...
Oh no, finger limes will grow here.
Yeah.
They will grow here, but they're basically like a finger.
Yeah, but they've only just become in demand now. But they've got a very nice taste too, actually.
I tried things like grass juice, and I just couldn't keep it up. I like healthy fruit shakes, for sure. Key lime, yep.
Oh, it's a key lime, is it?
I think that's what she's saying, yep. But lime in ice water, that's good enough for me for summer. I love that. Or
Wow.
lemon and lime.
Yes, I do like that.
But loads of people, and look, I mean, this is the irony. I used to have a franchise for soft drink, Pepsi, many years ago, and I still wouldn't drink the stuff. My generation was introduced to soft drink because I'm sure a few would remember just cordial. If Blinky's here, she'll know what I'm saying. It's like a mixture of sugars and flavourings, and it comes in a bottle, and it's like concentrate. You just add that to water. GI cordial was one of the first things. It was an American cordial called GI cordial. It was green. There was no real soft drink around, but kids of today just drink so much soft drink, and the reason I don't drink it is because in a can of Fanta or Coke there's 10 to 12 teaspoons of sugar. I mean, I've always said to people, if I just get 10 teaspoons of sugar and mix it in water, would you like to drink it? And they go, no way.
But
Give me a Coke with 13 teaspoons of sugar in it.
Only 2 of our grandkids drink Coke. All the others don't drink any soft drink at all. They like apple juice, water, and orange juice.
Both Daniel and Carl drink water, predominantly water.
No, but Daniel's boys will have Coke.
Mm-hmm. It is literally, I mean, like a lot of people think that sugar is bad on one level. In fact, the reason why it's really bad is the body's got to process it. It doesn't want it and it gets rid of it. But man, it makes your organs work overtime. That's the problem that people don't understand. And then, of course, if it stays in the body and converts into fat, it's visceral fat.
Yes, Danny. I was going to just thought of that myself. Danny, repeat after me as I say it. It's Arnott's. Arnott's biscuits.
Yeah, that was funny.
Arnott's.
Arnott's. And you know the funny thing, Danny? Arnott's is an American company.
You were so cute the way you said it, but we pronounce it here arnots.
I think she said knots.
I love you.
You talk funny, but you got a microphone out.
I just made myself laughing when I love listening to other people. They try and say stuff. I mean, it's not funny, but it is. I have trouble pronouncing stuff myself.
I mean, fruit is we eat tons of fruit in this house, and it's the best thing for it. I don't know why it happens, but sometimes I buy mandarins and I got real big ones at the moment, and you'll have one or two. It's like your body says, "Come on, you need it." Your body does talk to you. You just got to listen sometimes. My grandfather used to make elderberry wine and elderberry cordial, and it was yum. The thing about natural sugars, our bodies have been designed for them, Scarlett, to process them. The sugar we get from cane is not natural as far as 300 generations before. They didn't have it. They had honey and they had sweet herbs, which there are plenty of herbs that actually offer you sugar. But it's like, seriously, things that kill a lot of people, and you don't have to be overweight for this to occur, and that is that you have this visceral fat build-up, even in thin people, because the sugars that the body tries to get rid of, it ends up storing them, and it doesn't store them as normal fat.
Hey,
A lot of people don't get that. G'day, Vinny. Yeah, beets have an enormous amount of sugar in them. When I was a kid, they certainly had what they call the sugar beet. You couldn't eat it raw, trust me, but they processed it, crushed it, and they made. And I think, and even now, England makes about 30 or 40% of its own white sugar from sugar beets. Well, we're lucky in Australia. You go to any market here, there's 2 or 3 tables of different people selling their homemade honeys.
Man, the amount of apple cider vinegar, honey and lemons I go through in a week is incredible. Oh, because I love them.
Funny thing about the hibiscus plant, Free, if you cut the stalk and suck on a stem, it'll kill you.
Same as
castor oil plant's even worse.
What's matcha tea? Did I say that right, Danny?
It makes the tannin bitter. Hello, Adam. There's lots of things that detox the body, and I have to tell you the obvious one is water. When we start talking about antioxidants that actually do a cleansing process, there's loads of vegetable leaf that does it. One very, very good one is blueberries.
Oh, I love blueberries.
So antioxidants, they're a natural process in some teas. Not all teas.
Blueberries help you lose weight too.
Yeah, rhubarb leaves. Actually, they're one of the best. I just made my yearly or annual organic pesticide out of garlic, chili, and a little bit of natural soap. And it's strong enough.
Oh.
It is really strong.
I had to make him.
It's outside with me now, actually, under my chair.
I had to make him take it out of the laundry.
And it's strong, but it works brilliantly. And I don't use pesticide in the garden until I see a bug. A lot of people get a bit silly, even with commercial pesticides. They'll spray, and there aren't any bugs yet. I love rhubarb, but if you eat a rhubarb leaf, it will kill you. It's a huge toxin. But I used to make a rhubarb tea leaf up as another pesticide, and that kills everything. What I make, my organic pesticide, just deters bugs. They go on the plant and go, oh geez, I'll go elsewhere, and that's what it does.
See, I love strawberries. I like all berries.
Yep, very high in vitamin C.
Yeah, but I don't like strawberry jam or strawberry ice cream. But I like the fruit of the forest jam.
I've never made it, but I should make you some strawberry jam, proper homemade strawberry
I've
jam.
had
That
homemade.
would be different.
I've had homemade strawberry jam. I prefer just to eat the strawberries.
We're going to get about a dozen blueberry plants free because we eat tons of them.
Yeah, blackberries,
We
raspberries.
can't grow blackberries. If you ask Vinny, he'll tell you why, because it's considered a noxious weed in Australia.
What's that tree down the back?
It's a mulberry.
Oh, mulberries. Oh, yum. Mmm.
Yeah, you can't grow. If you're caught growing blackberries, you'll get in the shit in Australia. Because it just takes over the landscape, unfortunately. We got some watermelon in the fridge at the moment. I cut up the other day. It's so sweet. I'm trying to remember the name of that blueberry down at the garden centre. What was it called? Do you remember?
No, I don't. I've never. What's it? How do you say?
What?
I don't even want to try and pronounce that, Adam. Gara.
I don't even say
I'll
it.
say something like
Is it back, is it? It's called gargantuan.
Oh, there you go. Where's it? Gargantuan. I told you I'm no good with words, Daddy.
Yeah, she's not going to be a newsreader.
No.
G'day. Here you go. Yeah. I got my sexy look on. Not really. Peach sorbet. I like sorbets, actually. Bit la-di-da, but they're nice. High blush blueberries.
Gargantuan.
We have a spider in Australia called that, actually.
Yeah.
The gargantuan bird spider.
Gargantuan.
I know what's going to happen. We'll both do it. We'll go outside when the season's on for the blueberries and we'll sit at the bush, saying that we're going to pick some to bring inside.
I'll just eat them.
And just spend half an hour grazing.
Hell. Yeah, I like mangoes, but I don't like mango juice or mango ice cream.
What I don't like is orange and mango juice. Don't like that. I drink 100% orange juice.
Blueberry will only pollinate with a different variety, so we have to get two different varieties, Scarlett.
No, these ones are what they call par something, which means that between the plants they'll pollinate themselves.
Oh, okay.
Because I was reading that label. But we just want a nice row of them. The elbow gargantuan is a species known to drift on beaches. It looks quite strange. You've often seen the narwhal in the north where the Inuit live, but that doesn't have as much hair as the gargantuan elbow.
Come on.
It's a dying species.
Stuff what people are getting in trouble for.
They don't live that long because they consume so much food they explode.
People are getting in trouble for calling people names.
I'm not calling names, I'm just making statements of fact.
Well, Danny loves orange and mango juice, so you won't be getting that.
Yeah, I don't like orange and mango. It just doesn't work for me. Mangoes I'll eat, no problem. And orange juice I'll swallow, and oranges.
That's it.
But put them together, it just doesn't work for me.
Danny, when we come to visit, if we stay with you, you're going to have to strain the mango out
Blueberry
of the
with only
orange
pollinate
juice.
with a different variety. I hear what you're saying, Scarlett, but I was reading something on the label of these, and they've been bred to interpollinate between plants. I don't know what the proper Latin terminology for that is, but I will find out.
So do
Yeah,
you get,
it's the only one, Scarlett. No other plant. Well, you can go to a few other berries, of course, but we're talking about berries in general. They're the only ones that produce the seeds on the outside. And buying strawberry seeds is crazy, trust me. You end up with this wiry little setup, first of all, and then they struggle and struggle. You want cuttings from strawberry. If you've got a neighbour that's got beautiful strawberry bushes, you say, when they start to do the runners, can I have a half a dozen? And they'll say, yeah, sure.
our strawberries have got really pretty coloured flowers on them.
Yeah,
They're brighter than normal.
Yeah, they're big strawberries too. They're huge.
So Danny, you've got to strain the mango out of the mango and orange juice when we visit. because seeds won't drink it otherwise.
No, like I say, I would drink it, but it's like it wouldn't be my drink of choice.
How's she going to strain the mango out of the orange and mango juice?
Through her teeth. Yeah, it's like lemon trees. Even though people will say, yeah, you only need one lemon tree. History tells me that having two is a better idea.
All right, see you, free birdie.
See you, Free. You have a great day. I like celery with cream cheese spread down the middle. Crack a bit of black pepper on top.
I'll do that, Scarlett. I'll get the kids to do that when they eat some of the strawberries. I'll get them to chuck them out in the garden.
What's Scarlett saying? Throw out the tops of strawberries? Is that what you're saying?
Is that what you mean, Scarlett?
I hack my strawberry bushes right back.
No, when you eat the strawberry.
Yeah, you don't eat the top.
No, I know that. I'm getting tired. Have I misunderstood you, Scarlett? Are you saying when you take the top off a strawberry, you can put that in the garden?
No, it's not like a pineapple. Pineapples, you can actually do that with.
See, this is why I grew bonsai carrots.
I should grow a couple of pineapple, actually. They're not that hard to grow.
And she's saying yes. Scarlett said yes. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to get the grandkids to do it.
To do what?
When you take the top off a strawberry, put it in the garden.
Okay. I call that compost.
Well, you're not going to compost them.
It's like teaching your kids with carrot tops. They get fascinated with all these.
Oh, love pomegranate.
Yeah, I don't mind them, but geez, they're finicky.
Okay, I'm going to do that with the grandkids, Scarlett. Mango pie. Don't know if I'd eat that. I used to make a pineapple pie.
Well, on top, reverse one, you mean?
Well,
that's how most people make
my
it.
recipe book's gone. Was in that. It was a really simple pineapple pie because I absolutely love pineapple.
Upside down pineapple cake. Yeah, but we love fruit. And we can grow mangoes here, but they grow enormous. Like I had people know me from a few years ago where we lived. We had a 50-foot tall avocado tree.
Yes, kiwi fruit, yum.
And unbelievable amount of fruit.
Well, they have a big auction here.
Yes, Adam. Choose pomegranate. Crunch!
Well, you want to try milking an almond to get almond milk, Adam.
You just got to crush them. They've got another fruit out, Adam, similar to a kiwi fruit, but it's different.
Hey, VMAC.
It's like purple. Is VMAC here, is she?
Yes.
Oh, my thing stopped spinning. Hello.
You're scared of VMAC, aren't you?
Who?
You.
No.
Are you late? No, we're up late, VMAC. We're usually not on this late.
What is the time?
It's 20 to nearly 9:45 here.
Yeah, no. We just had odd days doing stuff, so we've just been coming and going randomly.
I probably would give that a go, VMAC. I'd dip any fruit in chocolate without a problem.
I love mango, but I don't like mango juice.
No.
It's weird, isn't it?
And star fruit. I love star fruit.
Yeah, but they've got to be ripe.
That's about the only fruit I'll eat cold. Like you like all your fruit in the fridge. I like mine at room temperature.
When I was in Darwin, we used to go at the back. There was a huge row of these star fruit, and I'd never tasted them before. A mate of mine got a couple. He put them in the fridge, and he got a knife out and he started cutting because they're quite firm.
Yeah.
But these were really ripe, and they were magnificent. They literally are star-shaped.
They really quench my thirst when I have a star fruit. Actually, I haven't seen them in the shop last year or this year.
You'd only ever get a few because they're real tropical fruit. You wouldn't grow them down here.
I have to ask the greengrocer.
Yes, thanks, Adam. Went really well. Really pleased. We'll show a bit more at the end of this coming week, but there's about 2 or 3 days of curing because it's a huge, thick slab.
And I forgot to scratch the date in the concrete and put the pennies in each corner.
You can always put them under the floor because we're having timber floorboards put down.
Oh, I'll do that, and I'll write a little note
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't get to scratch the concrete.
Yep.
I'll write a letter and put it in the floorboards, put it in a little plastic bag, put a coin under each corner.
The amount of concrete used was 41 square metres. So if you had a square metre, as in a square of concrete, and you just went up, it would be over 130 feet high.
Did you read what
That's
VMAC?
how much concrete we put in.
Did you read what VMAC, right?
Did you please the boy? Yes, we did, but we're not supposed to mention that VMAC.
So,
Thanks. All these body bags that VMAC dropped off in the morning.
Yes. So
Just went into the footings were about 4 feet deep by about 2 feet wide, so they fitted. Some we had to jump up and down on, but most of them slid in there quite nicely.
So Danny's going to take a pumpkin, cut off the top, hollow out the seeds, and make a yummy mixed drink inside the pumpkin, and push in a spigot. I've seen that done, Danny.
Do you know what the best thing I've ever done
Make
that
it,
with, Danny, is watermelon,
Yeah.
because you can use the watermelon in the drink itself as well.
I was going to say I've seen it do it with a watermelon. They
Mm.
cut the top off and use a blender.
My
Like
grandfather used to make his own whiskey, and he used to inject his melons just before they were ripe into the stem, like intravenously. He would do it for about 2 or 3 nights in a row, and when you cut up the watermelon, it was whiskey watermelon.
Yeah, I saw this lady get a seedless watermelon, cut the top off, put a blender inside the watermelon, then put one of the spigot in. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I like cider, actually.
Did I see Buttercup come in the room yet?
Hello, Buttercup. Very kind of you. Because there's a couple of levels to the back slab, as in the 2 bedrooms. The concrete's up about 1.5 inches. That will be the height of the floorboards going in the other section. So when they meet in the doorway, there's no big drop off either side. So it's a little bit complicated, but
Scarlet injects
not a major
milk
issue.
in the pumpkin plants to grow the mammoth pumpkins.
Mhm.
Oh.
Actually, I've
that's-
seen
that's
the
cool.
most clever one I ever saw was it was like a spike, if you imagine a spike, going into a round seedless watermelon. And the guy just stood there for about 15 minutes and he just kept moving the spike around and around and around and around until he picked up the melon. It was slosh, 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 slosh. And then he put some other things in there, sort of ripped the melon up, if you know what I mean. But I like all sorts of melons. We get a variety of choices of melons here. And I like papaya, that's nice. If you get the small ones, Danny, and if you just cut a little slice off the bottom so they sit flush on the table, not a lot, you know what I mean, just into the pith, and then scrape them all out, or scrape them out first and then do that. But you could mix also. I'll tell you what would be nice is like a small watermelon with champagne put into it, or cider. Actually, cider would be nice with melon.
Yeah, you've missed the chat. They've been already saying that.
Oh, have
and
they?
Adam said
Oh.
that cinnamon would go well in pumpkin. Like if you made some sort of drink that contains cinnamon.
I did it once, Scarlett. I grew square tomatoes. It's not that hard to do. It's a pain in the ass, but it's not that hard to do. And you've got to be pretty specific when you pick the fruit.
Yeah, there was a thing I watched. The Japanese put a heart-shaped mold around their watermelon, and as it grew, it actually grew into a heart shape. It's quite
I for
cool.
years and years, and I'm not actually operating the seed business at the moment, but I used to supply championship growers with Atlantic pumpkin seeds, and you all know what they are. And it's amazing what the weights that they got these things into. They're not much good to eat. They're great for cow feed or pig feed, but they get so big and coarse. But even if you don't want to get too complicated, if you just cut up a watermelon in slices, and then if you want to, you can sprinkle some type of liqueur like Grand Marnier over the top, or some orange liqueur, or vodka, or whiskey. Just sprinkle it over the melon. It will just permeate through it very, very quickly. So that's not hard to do. It's a lot easier than injecting it and stuff like that.
Well, that'd be cool to watch that VMAX.
What's that?
Hollow out giant gourds and pumpkins in October and then race them across the harbours.
Yeah, no, they do that. A lot of people grow gourds here for their shape. Do you know what I mean? And they're dried out, hollowed out. But I don't really do that. I eat them. A lot of people say you can't eat gourds. Yes, you can. You just eat them when they're younger. Yeah, it sounds nice. Very simple, Scarlett. It sounds delicious. At the end of a meal, that would be very much of a palate cleanser. Birdhouses is the most common thing they use them for here. Yeah, probably, Adam, maybe too much fertiliser.
Oh, poor Adam.
What happens when you have a super rich soil with cantaloupe, you end up with, which he's talking about rockmelon for us, they end up dropping their flowers because the plant just goes berserk.
So that's the other thing. It's strange how all countries have a different name for the same fruit.
Yeah, it's true. Like rutabago. It's turnip for us. It's rutabago for them. Yeah, VMAX. Some of the nice gourds are usually younger. They're always, most things like button squash and things like that. I used to sell green, yellow and white, and they're absolutely delicious steamed. Yeah, what happens, Adam, is the plant thinks all this extra fertiliser gives it an opportunity to go crazy, and it does. So what the plant thinks is that I can become massive and I'll drop all my flowers off and I'll just keep growing. Now this is going to sound very harsh to you, Adam, but if you're in the same soil next year, they'll still grow. But when they get to about halfway through their season, cut a heap of tendrils off. The thing that a plant thinks when it starts to get pruned is, I better start producing fruit so my children can live on. It's the same with tomatoes. If you put too much fertiliser, they burn, or they will just grow prolifically, and you end up with flowers dropping off all the time, or you end up with blossom rot.
Well, that's very clever, Scarlett.
What's that?
You heard Dad used to roast potatoes and use them for hand warmers walking to school and then eat them for lunch.
Clever. Dual purpose. All these practical things are just so logical, but people, if you said to your neighbour, oh, you should stick a couple of hot potatoes in your pocket for your kids, they'd probably look and think, don't talk to the neighbour. But it's practical, logical, and at the end of the lunch period, edible. Think about boiled eggs and potatoes. You can eat them cold. Nothing wrong with that. There's a meal in that. No worries, Adam. There's lots of little tricks in the garden. The main one is not to overwater. People just overwater all the time. Plants have to deal with mosaic viruses, bugs, insects, caterpillars. But if you drown them, you don't need to worry about the bugs or the insects because the plant will die. People tend, all the emails I've received over a decade is basically people saying, I got my seedlings started, but they all just rotted and went all smelly. And I said, how often did you water them? I said, we kept them well watered. No, I keep telling them they're not starting to droop, people panic. Like in the middle of summer,
You're buffering.
your plants, am I buffering?
Yeah.
In the middle of summer, when you think your plants are like droopy and a bit weak, just wait till the sun goes down. Because more likely than not, what they're doing is protecting themselves, and when the sun goes down, the plants start to recover a bit. It doesn't mean they're screaming out for moisture, but here is the secret, Scarlett, agree with me. This little thing goes in the ground about 1.5 inches up to the second knuckle, wiggle it around a bit and think, oh, there's heaps of moisture there, even though the soil on top looks dry. So this is a gardening tool.
Are you going, Scarlett? Okay, see you, Scarlett.
See you, Scarlett. Have a good day. Grab a potato or two on your walk. What's Scarlett's new nickname? Oh, we call Scarlett Spud. That's a very practical thing to do. I'm getting the finger now. Right, nick a wee bit of you tobacco us. I'll have that what you gave you this morning.
Spud pants.
The only potatoes I like growing at home, because potatoes need a fairly big area, is the red Desiree. I'm pretty sure it's the same name in the US. They're just a beaut potato.
You can grow them in tyres, in layers.
You can do, or boxes, whatever you want to do. But they're a real sweet red potato. You can boil, fry, steam.
Spud Poppy Field. Everyone's got names
There
now.
we go.
For Scarlett.
I've started something now. Danny's going to say that every time Scarlett comes in the room. G'day, Spud Poppyfield. How you going?
Well, we've got Buttercup to change your name.
Danny's got a name. It's called Finance. Did you say finance? No, I said finance. Oh, Dill just goes berserk. It's nearly indestructible, to be honest. Dill is, for me, a herb you should put in a pot.
Yep, same as
Not
mint.
not for any other reason that a lot of people let it go to seed, and if it's in a pot, the seeds will fall on the ground and they won't grow. But if it's in a garden and it's like spearmint, it can be a nightmare. And I never use a lot of dill. I'll make a roux up and I'll put a bit of dill in if I'm having it on fish or something, but
Not me.
you don't use a lot of dill.
I don't like dill. Except I like dill pickles.
You can't have a lot of it because it's just too aniseedy and takes
It's
over.
funny, I don't like dill in cooking or white sauce, but I like dill pickles.
I like spearmint, not mint. What VMAC's saying there. I like spearmint. It is different. There's a different flavour.
Well, be cooked for me, VMAC. Oh, don't put it in the chocolate, for God's sake.
Yeah, dill is something, it's a little bit goes a long way, would be the best description. Works well with a fish, with a sauce, for sure. But it's not a herb that I put in a lot of foods I make. It is very good for you, but like I say, that you grow one dill, you get one seed and grow a dill plant, you've got dill forever. They should call it the forever plant, to be honest.
Yeah, see, I like pickled cucumbers.
When I
That's
do
got
that,
dill.
I'll put in sprigs of dill.
Yeah, I like that, but I don't like dill in a white sauce or anything.
Probably my favourite pickle I make, and I make lots of pickles, is my bread and butter pickle. I love that.
Okay, see you, Danny.
See you, Danny. Have a great day.
Arnott's. Just remember that, Danny. Arnott's. I know the spelling doesn't fit with how you say it.
Yeah, but VMAC, I'm sure it's just a hint of dill. It's not a handful of dill. Because, like I say, a little bit goes a long way.
We're talking about VMAC here. She probably does put a cupful in.
No, you really wouldn't put a cupful in because it would overpower. Well, that's my presumption. It's like the herb I use most is garlic, out of all the herbs. Or garlic chives, they're good. Or wild garlic, that's really good. And the thing about any allium plant, I'm talking about the onion family, you can eat everything. Everything you can eat, from the root to the plant. Even when it's seeds, you can eat the seeds. The allium plant is quite unique in that factor. You can eat everything of it. But of course, my favourite plant in Latin is Lycopersicon esculentum. Come on, smarty pants. What did I just say? What's the common name for Lycopersicon esculentum?
Is it a fruit or a vegetable?
It's actually a fruit, believe it or not, but it's not what people would think.
Tomato.
Smarty pants. Yes, Mr. Angel got it. What's the best way to grow onion seed? Really old method is to they call it in the US the same thing. It's called sets. And what you do is you just get a bit of paper toweling, probably a couple of layers at them, and get it moist, so it's quite moist but not soaking, and sprinkle all your onion seeds like in an ice cream container. Do you know what I mean? Like a 2-litre ice cream container. Sprinkle your onion seeds in there, and as they start to germinate, just spray them with a spray bottle to keep them moist. Before you know it, you've got an ice cream container. Germinate, and just keep it moist. Don't flood it because they'll die. It's a bit of an art, but people used to sell buckets of onion seedlings.
So you've been
And you know the best way to plant onion seedlings? And a lot of people just look at me funny. You dig a little trench and you lie them on their side and just cover the root flat on the ground. And people say, that's crazy. I say, no, because a seedling, like an onion, so young, is very weak. What it does, the root takes hold and then straightens the plant. But I've told this to people for years and they go, yeah, I'll do that. And they don't. They just plant them in the ground thinking I'm mad. But young seedlings are quite susceptible to be blown over and snapped. But lie them on the ground, but bury the roots. The plant will follow the sun.
On that note, I'm going to go to bed.
It's like if you do buy tomato seedlings, you know, on a tomato bush, it's all furry up and down. You know what I mean? From the root right up, it's all furry. Well, they will turn into roots. So if you want to plant your tomatoes instead of just to where you bought them, but go double, all those little hairy bits will become roots and strengthen the tomato bush if you plant it deeper. You don't kill the plant by planting deeper. Those furry bits turn into roots. Everything's worth giving a go at them. Like I've had people tell me things over the decades and they've worked or they haven't worked. But the thing is, you work it out yourself in the long run. The best way to learn is to do it. Not listen to me, but to do whatever you think might be the go.
But it's good to get advice.
Yeah, I mean, I just had many years of doing it. And I've experimented doing different things different ways. Like, to be honest with you, and this is brutal, tomato plants really shouldn't be staked. I'm going to stake mine because I've got a very small garden. But the truth of a tomato plant is a vine. It literally is what it is. It will grow an enormous length. My longest tomato, or not tallest because this was on the ground, was 25 feet long. I kid you not. Cherry tomatoes are brilliant because they're always the ones that go late into the season. Even if it starts to cool off, you'll always have cherry tomatoes. Beefsteak have a limited time, brandywine, ox heart, all those heirlooms. I love them, by the way. I love those heirlooms. And I'm growing one beefsteak and a few other heirlooms as well. Not sure how this little garden's going to go because the primary concern for me is the soil's terrible. So I'm going to have to keep on top of that. Yeah, now you can, if you've got a wire fence, like an old gate or something, tomatoes will fill it up. The beefsteak family itself is very prolific. What I mean by that is there are so many varieties of beefsteak. Italian beefsteak, I could go on. There's literally hundreds of them, but they're very robust. And if you let them have a big area to grow, you'll have an enormous crop. Literally enormous. Because the tomato plant itself was never meant to be staked. But they're used to growing on the ground. Well, this is what tomatoes do. They'll send out a tendril, it'll hit the ground, and then it'll go up again and hit the ground. And every time it hits the ground, it set roots. Literally.
I'm off to bed.
And we're off to bed anyway, but good catching up with you guys. Lack of calcium, yeah, and it's worth getting your soil tested. I certainly know what I need to do is virtually import all the soil I need for my garden, because sand doesn't have much to offer. It's good basis, otherwise you can mix it in, but the soil that I'll be putting in my raised garden bed will be totally different. Yeah, and one thing about cherry tomatoes, and people used to email, so look, the bottom of the tomatoes all dying and it's nothing. And I say, what's the top like? And they say, it's going mad. I said, what are you emailing me for? It's good. Tomato plants die, and what they die from is from the bottom up. But while it's still producing, don't panic. Have a good day if you're just starting, or have a good night if you're going to bed. And we will catch up with you. You want to say good night? Can they see you?
No, it's a bit dark.
Well, you can still say good night.
Good night. I was just reading.
Yeah, she was giving you the ignore.
Sorry. Oh, hey, keeping. I'm going now.
Hello, Keeping. We're just going to shoot off. Good day to you, mate. And have a great day. Catch you next time.